where the Human Torch chases her into space.
Mm-hmm.
That was all in a very quick clip. I think I saw it on like I don't even know, comic book news or something on Instagram,
Yeah.
and that was it.
So I guess I'll bring up the screenshots I put on Instagram because you pretty much get the gist of it.
Yeah.
Um, so we got a couple new looks on here, and shout out to Dada Films in the house. Good to see you. Um, so we got, like you said, Silver Surfer. We had that scene that's a straight copy paste from Fantastic Four 2. But we also finally got Reed Richards being fantastic
Hmm.
and a physical look at Galactus outside of a shadow.
Oh,
Which,
we did. I didn't see that one.
yeah. So did you see Ghostbusters News posted the trailer today, saying like I know who that is in the trailer?
No, no.
So in this one, you see um, Galactus walking through New York City,
Oh,
and Ghostbusters News, of course, after he's walking through, cuts to the Empire State Building
uh,
walking through the city. I
Stay
actually
Puft
expected
Marshmallow Man.
that's who I expected it to be, but color scheme wise, and because it's like a human looking foot, I was like, oh,
Mm.
actually, Statue of Liberty does make more sense if you're gonna do that.
Oh, you said okay. I'm sorry. You said Empire State Building walking through the city, and that's why I said Stay Puft. But the Statue of Liberty, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh wait, I said Empire State Building walking through the city.
I'm like 99% sure that's what I heard. Did
Yeah,
he say that in the chat, or
I
did I
probably
have a
did say that.
schizophrenic moment?
No, my brain's all over the place today. It's
Yeah,
it's been a week. Uh,
I'm trying to keep
but
us both in the good graces of the fandom.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So yeah, you got that in there. Here's the thing. I still have no hype for this movie. And as we were kind of like talking about in the group chat, and you guys in comments can let us know, you know, it seems very much too similar to Fantastic Four 2. Like nothing about this trailer seems like new and fresh outside of it's this new cast and it's, Disney now. I'm wondering if they're
Yeah.
doing that on purpose, where there actually will be more to this movie than what we've seen. But I'm also wondering if it's just the classic tale of it's really hard to make people care about Fantastic Four. Maybe it's just impossible to do.
I mean, that could definitely be part of it. I don't know. It's they maybe they should have done it in like had them come out during Infinity War or something instead of Captain Marvel. Like I don't know. Maybe like introducing them backwards instead of doing the origin like they're probably going to do now and this and that. But yeah, it is. I mean, listen, I'm a comic book fan. I still really don't give a crap about
No.
what's going on with the first family. Like even in comics, like whenever I see like whenever they cross over with like I mean, really, only I read Spider-Man on the Marvel side. Whenever they cross over with Spider-Man, I'm like, oh, cool. This is what's going on with them now.
Mm-hmm.
Like years ago, when they killed the Human Torch, I only knew they killed him. Well, okay, I knew they killed him because they were hyping it up as the end. They ended the Fantastic Four book, so I knew about that too. But otherwise, I just read the Spider-Man crossovers, and I think maybe I bought the first arc of the Future Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just because I was like, oh, maybe it'll be in like stupidly thinking, oh, it's a new number one, it'll be worth a lot.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
no. So, but yeah, no, it's really tough. I don't know. I mean, Sal. I want to say he's a fan, but like, I also don't know if. I mean, it's probably like one of those. It branches off into, oh yeah, I like Fantastic Four too. I don't know if I know anybody who's like Fantastic Four, man.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my jam. I read that book every month, and
Yeah.
I don't miss it. And blah blah blah. So
Well, it's actually I was trying to think of an analogy to this because that's all I do these days is come up with analogies and examples. But
hmm
it's very similar to old school Roman Reigns before he lost the belt, which you won't get this analogy, but for the wrestling
not at
people
all.
in the audience. Um, so Marvel, I feel like since the dawn of time has been like, you need to care about Fantastic Four. Like the Fantastic Four is great. You need to care about them. They're awesome. And the fans are like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm good. I don't care. And they were doing that in wrestling for a long time. Vince is like, Roman Reigns is the guy. And literally everybody was like, I don't care. Like, I don't like him. Give me somebody else. And they were like, nope, you got to care about Roman Reigns. You got to care about Roman Reigns. So it seems very similar. I just, to your point, I don't know a single person who's been like, oh, I love the Fantastic Four. The only time I personally ever cared about a character there, actually two times. One, as a kid, classic conversation around the lunch table, who would win, Hulk or the Thing.
Hmm.
And two is the Council of Reeds being a thing. Like I was like, oh, that's interesting. It wasn't enough to make me ever want to read anything, but I'm like, oh, that's cool that he's that smart that he has a council that's above the Illuminati, where literally just all Reed Richards meet and talk about stuff.
Yeah. There's even I might not be 100% accurate with this, but I'm pretty close. Are you aware of the Maker in the Ultimate Universe?
Not ringing a bell.
So in the old Ultimate Universe, before they ended it, that Reed Richards, I forget if he was always bad or whatever gave them their powers in the Ultimate Universe, cracked his brain. But he very quickly, like you were like, oh wow, we're getting the Ultimate Fantastic Four. They didn't do it this whole time throughout the entire Ultimate run. That ended very quickly, and he was a villain. And the Reed Richards became a villain, and he eventually starts calling himself the Maker. And I want to say he's actually responsible for ending the Ultimate Universe.
Mm,
He's definitely like, and at some point, I don't know how, but at some point he must have crossed over into the main MCU, and Reed and maybe the other Reeds, or at least the Illuminati, captured him, and then they've restarted the Ultimate Universe. So he broke out, and he restarted the Ultimate Universe, and he's calling himself the Maker and
mm,
all this other crazy shit. And it's actually the first issue is actually where he breaks out of his prison is really fucked up because somehow from prison he he assembled a crew to break him out that had enough similarities genetically to him that he would have fooled the censors. It's a whole thing. But then like one guy was a little bit wrong, and when Iron Man or when 616 Reed Richards goes to investigate, the guy is like a horrible like hodgepodge of people, and he melts. It's disgusting.
mm.
So definitely not the Reed Richards you're used to. So that's an interesting take on Reed Richards. I don't necessarily like I don't know. Oh, he's an obsessed scientist who ignores his wife and he stretches. I don't know what you
Yeah.
want me to do with that. Like, give me the Maker. You know,
Well, it's weird
we'll
too
see.
because I was wondering if is he just too boring of a character because he's like just smart and he doesn't have like cool tech like Iron Man, or he just doesn't have cool gear like Batman. But I think it's just like he's just a boring guy. Like Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark, they're interesting people. Like that's part of who they are. But Reed Richards is just like, oh man, it's so hard to be so smart. Like I don't know what to do. Like
Mm,
that's to me that's like public perception, and maybe Pedro Pascal will change that. I who knows, but I feel like even in the trailer when you do watch it, it's gonna be classic. Oh man, I was smart, but I wasn't smart enough. Like
yeah.
that's gonna be the whole thing of the movie. So let's catch up on some comments, see what everybody was saying here. Um, so Dave said, did I say hi to, I said hi to Dada. I did. Um, Dave said, I saw a Test 4 trailer. I liked it, but I already see people calling it woke because of the female surfer, which is Canon Norman Rad's wife, I believe. Wish people would just relax. Um, I don't, with this one, I just don't care enough. Like, I don't care enough that she's a woman, or if it was a guy. Silver Surfer's another one. Like, I've just never, oh, and then I'll pose a question to you actually. I've just never cared enough about Silver Surfer to be like, oh no, I can't believe it made him a woman. Like I don't. But and I guess he was a woman at one point in the comic books.
I mean, Galactus has had a bunch of what
Heralds.
word did they heralds? Thank you. He's had a bunch of heralds. I'm sure he had a woman at some point. I
Yeah.
was actually going to say before you ask your question, just looking at this, one critique I have of it, make her bald.
Yeah,
She doesn't need
that
to
did
have
bother
hair.
me.
She doesn't
That
need to
did
have
bother me.
silverfied or silver whatever. She doesn't need to have
Yeah.
hair like that. It doesn't like I don't care if this was going to be your question, by the way. I don't even care that they gender swapped her. Like,
No.
and she's what would be the female of Norman? Nora,
Nora. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. So I don't. I mean, I really don't care. But again, that's just because it's not my specific fandom. Like, Amazing Spider-Man 2 when all of a sudden one of Peter's parents is alive in canon, like that's, okay, that's irritating to me
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But, again, I don't know if you're going to find somebody who's going to be like, "Oh my god, she's a woman." And like I don't know these people. I don't know these Fantastic Four fans.
Well, here's the thing. They're not the people who make the videos. Oh my god, she's a woman. What are you doing? They don't watch the content anyway. Like they're just gonna do it because they're like, oh, now I have a topic I can talk about in a video. Like that. That's
Mhm.
where that's gonna come from. It's not gonna be from somebody who's like, oh, I've read all the comics. It's BS. There's only like
Yeah.
two YouTubers I can think that like could, like if they were like, oh, I used to read all of them, I would believe them. But they would also complain for the sake of complaining, not because they have a preference. No, the question I was going to pose to you. So one of my friends, he sent me a text about a conversation they're having at work, a debate, and he said the wrong name, and I knew what he meant, so I answered it. But then I thought about what he said, and I was like, oh, I wonder if this would have been my answer still. So the text message read along the lines of, "Who's stronger and who would win in the fight? Um, Silver Surfer or the Flash?" And when I started answering, I was answering as though he wrote Quicksilver. So once I gave him my answer that I believe the Flash would win, I said, "By the way, did you mean Silver Surfer or Quicksilver? Because I'm interpreting the text based on the argument that you actually meant to say Quicksilver." And he was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that makes more sense. That I guess even amongst themselves, they were calling Quicksilver Silver Surfer
Uh,
in a speedster versus speedster fight." So I was like, "Yeah, I think the Flash would smoke, specifically Barry Allen would smoke and kill the Quicksilver if they had a fight, in my opinion."
um, not you're not up on your Wally West. You're besmirching Wally.
Is Wally now better than Barry?
Wally is has been shown to have a much deeper connection to the Speed Force than Barry.
Okay.
He actually at different times, I want to say he's had like he's been lost in the Speed Force for
Right.
a long time,
Yep.
so like he absorbed more of the energy, stuff like that. Recently, well, a couple years ago, when I say recently, but a couple of years ago, he had a whole thing where he actually, bear with me, he absorbed Doctor Manhattan's powers.
While
They
they're doing that
actually
crossover stuff.
they did that stuff where I think I never actually read it. I think the whole thing was like that the Watchmen actually happened in the DC universe,
Mm-hmm.
and Doctor Manhattan did something to make everybody forget about the Watchmen. So I think that was what it is. And anyway, at the end, somehow Wally becomes not Doctor Manhattan, but he just has his powers and he can like alternate between them. Anyway, Wally has been shown to have a lot more of a deeper connection to with the Speed Force, and he's able to do stuff with the Speed Force that Barry can't. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's able to. I mean, I don't know if it's canon anymore. I'm a little behind on DC, but he's able to usually like time travel without the cosmic treadmill. That's something unique to him, and other things that I'm blanking on right now. I want to say he even like helped reactivate connections to the Speed Force, but I could just be pulling that out of my ass.
Wait, wait.
But no,
Flashpoint was Wally, not Barry.
no. Flashpoint was Flashpoint was Barry because they did bring Barry back, and
Yeah.
Wally. I think that was at one point where Wally was lost in the Speed Force, maybe. But no, Flashpoint was Barry because they wanted him to come back because I forget the guy's name, the same head of DC who was obsessed with the idea of killing off Dick Grayson, wanted all the legacy heroes back, and that's how come Hal Jordan and Barry came back. They wanted their legacies back. But no, Flashpoint. I'm forget. Flashpoint was Barry Allen, and it was more or less how it happened in the comics. Reverse Flash.
Mm-hmm.
He goes back to save his mom, and Reverse Flash does something, or that changes history. It's been a long time since I read it. And
Yeah.
then that kicks off the New 52 universe, which is now, I'm pretty sure, gone. I don't
Yes.
even know.
Yeah.
So,
Now, all that being said, if we did Silver Surfer versus, I guess in this at this point we'll say Wally West, I still
Quicksilver,
no no
Silver
because
Surfer. Okay.
I think universally we all know Quicksilver would not, this is not more powerful than the Flash,
Okay.
because there's no Speed Force type thing in Marvel to the same level that I could think of.
Right.
So, but now we're dealing with somebody who could travel faster than the speed of light and has the power cosmic. Does Silver Surfer beat the Flash? I don't think so.
Yeah. No, I think Wally West at like the peak of his powers that I'm thinking of him at recently, he beats probably Silver Surfer.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's where I was.
So
I was like, I'm willing to more entertain Silver Surfer versus the Flash, but I'm not willing to entertain Quicksilver versus Flash. Like, I don't think that's an
I'm
argument.
I'm pretty sure in like the really old comic, the JLA versus the Avengers, I'm pretty sure like Quicksilver comes to the DC universe and like I think it was Barry, it could have been Wally, but whoever the Flash was, I'm pretty sure he like runs pun intended, I guess, runs circles around him and he's just like you're supposed to be fast? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Um, I'm glad we took that deviation of the conversation.
I'm sure people in the chat are not.
Dave said, I'm not hyped, but I'm looking forward to this more than Superman. That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
Wow.
And I know he's not kidding either. He's not even trying to be like uh divisive or anything. The trailer looks good. This is Dada. The trailer looks good. The CGI Silver looks kind of weak, but what do you expect? They could have tried a more practical effect, I guess. It's tough, especially because Quicksilver. See, now I'm doing it because Silver Surfer can like, go through the board and needs to be super shiny. So I can understand why it had to be CGI, but it's still not like cool. It's not, nothing about it's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's pretty close to coming out, right? So shouldn't like the effects
yeah,
be
this
locked
summer.
at this point? Well, I mean, is it like summer or is it like a May release?
Is that the same thing?
No, like because Thunderbolts comes out in May, but
So then this one's
I
like
don't think of
July.
May. Okay, yeah, like that's a summer movie to me. Like
Yeah,
May is still like spring.
yeah. Speaking of effects, Dave said Fantastic Four has better special effects than the leaked footage of the Legend of the White Dragon. I wouldn't expect Legend of the White Dragon to have better effects than Fantastic Four, but I'm always down for a dig at Legend of the White Dragon. Um, also talking about Roman Reigns. Reed Richards is a true nerd. Anthony's right about Wally. Wally's leveled up. All right, cool. So for the longest time, I may have said it before. I thought Flash on Justice League was Barry Allen, and then it wasn't until Unlimited when I realized he was Wally.
hmm